What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. Today's video, we're going to give you our Overreaction Monday takes. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, week 8 is officially in the books. Well, again, almost always. We have Monday Night Football tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to start off with some of the more interesting things that we saw on Sunday, and I want to start off with the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, they had a really solid game against the Carolina Panthers, and they came up just short, and it was an interdivisional game, really hard fought. But I don't want to talk about the game necessarily. I want to talk about what the Falcons are going to do moving forward with Calvin Ridley's message that he posted online saying that he needs to take a few weeks and step away from the sport of football for his mental health. He is the first player in the NFL that we have seen not only go through this publicly, but also make it well known while he's going through it. Nick, I just want to get your thoughts and your opinion. What do you think about Calvin Ridley sending this message out, especially during his team's game? And do you think that the Falcons can survive without him?
Yeah, well, I mean, he actually didn't even give a timetable. We can assume a few weeks, but who knows? This could be the rest of the season. We don't know when Calvin Ridley is going to come back. He did not give that timetable, but for the Falcons, they desperately need a true wide receiver one. They need to go and try to get a Brandon Cooks, a Deshaun Jackson, somebody that's going to help out Kyle Pitts, because we saw Kyle Pitts out there yesterday and he was not playing up to his level. The last 2 weeks, he was amazing. But this week, he absolutely fell apart, dropping passes, big plays that you want from a 4th overall pick. He's going to have his rookie mistakes, and it's going to increase if he does not have a big name wide receiver to offset him. So the Falcons are desperately needing another big name receiver to help out this offense. It's going to be tough sledding for them moving forward.
I don't know if they could go out and get a Cooks or a Deshaun Jackson, just simply because when you're thinking about this team, they're not really going anywhere this year anyway. So let the rookie get his reps in. Let's work out Russell Gage, Olamide Zaccheaus. Let's see where those guys are gonna go. I don't think that they have a chance in the NFC, especially with how top heavy this conference is. I think that the Falcons need to just take their licks, work with Calvin Ridley, get him the help that he needs and he's seeking, and just kind of work with him through this. But at the end of the day, I don't see the Falcons surviving even if they had Calvin Ridley. So that's why I would say they wouldn't go after a Cooks or a Deshaun Jackson.
I don't know if
they make that difference.
Right, but I don't know if I agree with that, because they are 3-4. Yeah, they just lost the Carolina Panthers, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also just lost. So this division is still up for grabs. No one's got a stronghold over it. So the Falcons are not out of it unless they don't go and get a big name wide receiver. I think if they get more offensive help, they can get there.
I don't think the Falcons can compete with the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the division, and at least one of those teams is taking away another playoff spot. So that leaves you 2 playoff spots, with the NFC West the way it looks, and you have the NFC North where the Vikings and Packers are fighting that out. It doesn't look like there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of room in the NFC for a team like the Falcons to squeak in. All right, well, this is a great time to remind you guys to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this show. Let us know what you think about the Atlanta Falcons and the rest of the topics that we're going to cover today. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. All right, Nick, let's move on to our second down, where we take a look at the New York Jets. That's right, the New York Jets are on top once again. They defeat the best team in the AFC, the Cincinnati Bungles. They deserve it. I told you they were going to fall. I told you that the Bungles would come back, and they did. And guess what? They fell to the almighty Jets, led by Mike White and this just incredible offense. The Jets literally torched the Bengals. It was painful to watch. And needless to say, we lost money on this, but that's a different story. I want to talk about the Jets specifically here. Do the Jets have a quarterback controversy? Do they have a competition here? Because Zach Wilson under center, this offense looked anemic. And you can point to the fact that he's a rookie quarterback. He hasn't really gotten going. But yes, so is Mike White. Mike White is a rookie quarterback that they selected later on in the draft, and they could have easily been able to use him. He looks like a much more competent quarterback in this system with Mike LaFleur and the weapons around him. No Corey Davis, and they were still getting the ball down the field. The Jets really, really struck gold here. I have to wonder, is there a competition here in New York where Mike White could take over for Zach Wilson?
I think it's a little too early to tell. I think you can't take much away because this is Mike White's first start. There really wasn't much film on Mike White besides the 3 quarters he played against the New England Patriots, and you're not going to learn much from that. So I expected the Bengals to have their problems, not to this extent. I didn't think that Mike White would be throwing for over 400 yards, but here we are. And Mike White can definitely make this much more controversial if he can make it more consistent. If he can go out next week and do the same thing, then it's going to be more of a question whether Zach Wilson is the guy or do you have to stick with the hot hand. So I think it's a TBD for me right now.
I mean, the Jets have a quick turnaround as they're taking on the Indianapolis Colts on Thursday Night Football next week. It's going to be very interesting to see how Mike White can handle this Indianapolis Colts defense that really shook the confidence of the Tennessee Titans for most of the day, but then obviously got shellacked moving forward. The Jets could put up points against the Colts, and if they do that, I really think that there is going to be a controversy in New York. You know the New York media all too well, and you understand exactly what these guys do, and they are going to shine light on the fact that Mike White is a competent quarterback. Zach Wilson has looked anything but, and the fact that we are talking about it in the same season when they're both rookies is raising even more red flags. I think that the Jets have to truly consider letting Mike White ride this out until something gives. Either way, the Jets definitely have a controversy of some sort on their hands. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers falling to their kryptonite once again. Yes, the New Orleans Saints have come to town to ruin Tom Brady's day, sacking him multiple times, a lost fumble and 2 interceptions, one brought back for a touchdown. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just looked problematic without Rob Gronkowski, without Antonio Brown. This team struggled. Mike Evans had a decent day, but was mostly shut down by Marshawn Lattimore. And then on top of that, you saw CJ Gardner-Johnson and the rest of these defensive backs really trying to contain the rest of the wide receivers. Granted, they gave up a huge play to some guy that nobody knows. That was a track star at LSU. But nonetheless, Buccaneers just came up short. And once again, they were beaten out by the New Orleans Saints. Nick, I have to ask the question, what needs to change for the Bucs as they head into their bye week? What can they do to turn this around?
They need their stars to get healthy. They need Rob Gronkowski to fix his back issues. And they need Antonio Brown's ankle to get healthy. They need some of the secondary to get healthy and come back. All of these big weapons that Tom Brady needs on offense and the defense needs in that backfield, they need to get that back right away. That is what is hurting them right now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a much better team when they have them. Tom Brady needs to have his security blanket, and that's either Antonio Brown or Rob Gronkowski. Those are really the 2 guys he trusts more than Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He needs to have that security blanket on the field at all times. Without that, the offense looks like it's in disarray. They just struggle completely against the Saints. It's a bad matchup, but I think that overall the Buccaneers will be fine. They just need their guys to get back. They're lucky they're going to a bye because this is the perfect time for everybody to get some rest and get back out there for week 10.
Let me ask you this. You talked about the defensive backs. They might be struggling on the back end of the defense, and we saw that for a couple of weeks now where this defense is definitely hindered by the injuries. But they were giving up chunk yardage to Trevor Siemian. Not Jameis Winston, not Taysom Hill, and definitely not Drew Brees. This was Trevor Siemian. I mean, what else can the Buccaneers truly do outside of, I mean, there was no pass rush. There was no coverage. It just seemed like the Saints moved up and down the field as they very well pleased. And Alvin Kamara, obviously being the dynamic weapon that he is, was torching this defense.
Yeah, I don't even think that's the big problem, though. The real problem in this game was the penalty differential. You look at the Buccaneers, who had over 11 penalties in this game for over 100 yards, and then you had the New Orleans Saints with less than 5 for such minimal yards. That is the big difference maker. You saw the Buccaneers defense take unnecessary hits at the quarterback when the play was already over. There was no reason to. They're costing their team so many points by just letting the drive continue on, and then you know things are going to happen. You don't need to be the best quarterback. If you're given all those opportunities, you're going to put some together. And honestly, Trevor Siemian looked like the most competent Saints quarterback that the Saints have had this year. He looks like he is truly a game manager, but really that's all the Saints need, because that defense is absolutely unreal.
I just wanted to break away for a little second. As we're talking about this game, I just got confirmation that Jameis Winston has a terrible ACL injury, partial injury to his MCL as well. It looks like he will be missing the rest of the NFL season. It was a bad injury and a tough one for the Saints to really suffer. They have Taysom Hill, who's coming back from his concussion next week, should be cleared to play, but a tough blow for the Saints nonetheless.
Maybe this is a silver lining with Trevor Siemian having a great game. Michael Thomas is about to come back. This could be the start of something new in the post-Drew Brees era.
Definitely something to watch. The New Orleans Saints are going to be on our radar for sure, but I'll be interested to see how they can continue. Maybe the Falcons do have a chance after all. All right, with our final down, our fourth down, I want to talk about the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots went out to Los Angeles and did what they do to the Chargers. They absolutely bludgeoned this team. It wasn't as lopsided as it was last year, 45-0 with Cam Newton under center, but Mac Jones struggled in the first half passing the ball. It just seemed like he wasn't comfortable in the pocket. There was a lot of pass rush. We saw that Jerry Tillery and Joey Bosa were really getting trouble and getting to him, and then all of a sudden things started calming down after halftime. They got back to running the ball. They got back to that play action. Things were opening up across the middle, and wouldn't you know, the Patriots win because a former Charger pick sixes them. Gotta love Adrian Phillips. But Nick, I want to ask you, with what we saw from the Patriots against the Chargers, this was their first quality win. Do you believe that the Patriots are playoff contenders in the AFC?
I absolutely believe that the New England Patriots are playoff contenders. They have yet to face the Buffalo Bills, which isn't going to happen until the end of the season. We don't know what these teams are going to look like at that point. So they could even win the division at this point. Now that they are only 2 games behind the Buffalo Bills, they could really get after them with the 2 games they still have yet to play against each other. So the Patriots not only can win that division, but look at the AFC picture as a whole. They're right there, right at the wild card marker. The Cleveland Browns are looking worse and worse. The Patriots actually now have a better record, so they move up a spot. They're ever so close to that wild card, and I don't think that with the teams left on their schedule that they're going to give that position up. In fact, I think they're going to continue to climb up that leaderboard. They're going to continue to improve. And at that point, who knows whether the Patriots or the Bills are the better team in the division.
No, I agree 100%. And you talked about the remaining schedule for the Patriots. Well, if you take a look at their schedule, they go on the road to the Carolina Panthers, who struggled with the Atlanta Falcons. They have not been great as of late. That offensive line looked terrible. A reunion against Stephon Gilmore, of course, but then they go home and face the Cleveland Browns, who are truly struggling. I mean, Baker Mayfield does not look like the same Baker Mayfield from the first couple of weeks. Then they go on the road to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, and then they take the Tennessee Titans on. So they don't have a quality game until the Tennessee Titans 4 weeks from now. That's 4 more weeks that Mac Jones has under his belt, that this offense has to get going, and this defense can continue to show how dominant they can be. I like the Patriots right now. They're second in the AFC East, and they are humming. They were right behind the Los Angeles Chargers for a contending spot for the wild card. Now they beat the Chargers. Like you said, they have the better record now, and they have the head-to-head tiebreaker. It's going to be interesting, but I think that the Patriots could squeak in to the back end of the wild card in the AFC. All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about our 4 downs. Let us know what you think about each topic. Let us know in the comments below. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.